A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a powerful display of discontent, thousands of Mexicans took to the streets of Mexico City on Saturday, protesting against the rising tide of crime and corruption that has gripped the nation. The protests were sparked by the recent assassination of Carlos Alberto Manzo Rodriguez, the mayor of Erupt, who was shot dead during Day of the Dead festivities earlier this month. This tragic event has highlighted the fragility of security in Mexico and has galvanized a generation of young people demanding change. Organized primarily by a group identifying as Generation Z Mexico, the demonstration drew participants from various age groups, uniting them under a shared frustration with systemic issues plaguing the country. According to official reports, around 120 individuals were injured during the protests, with 100 of those being police officers. The clashes escalated when a small group of demonstrators attempted to tear down fences around the National Palace, the residence of President Claudia Sheinbaum. Riot police responded with tear gas, leading to a chaotic scene where protesters and officers clashed. Clara Brugada, the mayor of Mexico City, condemned the violence, stating on social media that violent expression violates the rights of others. However, the protesters, many of whom wore straw hats symbolizing their support for the slain mayor, voiced their anger at the government's inability to protect its citizens. Eyewitness accounts describe a scene of turmoil as demonstrators shouted, "Carlos did not die, the government killed him," reflecting their belief that systemic corruption is to blame for the violence. The protests are part of a larger trend seen globally, where young people are increasingly taking to the streets to demand accountability from their governments. This year alone has seen significant uprisings in various countries, including the resignation of Nepal's prime minister following protests against social media bans, and the ousting of Madagascar's president due to widespread discontent over governmental failures. In Mexico, the sentiment among the youth is clear. Many are fed up with the status quo and are calling for stronger action against crime and corruption. Andres Massa, a 29-year-old business consultant, emphasized the need for improved security, stating, "We need more security." His sentiments were echoed by others in the crowd, including Erisbeth Garcia, a physician who expressed concern for the safety of medical professionals in a country where violence is rampant. Despite the unrest, President Claudia Sheinbaum maintains high approval ratings, although she has faced criticism for her handling of crime. In the lead-up to the protests, Sheinbaum accused right-wing political parties of attempting to infiltrate the Generation Z movement and manipulate the narrative surrounding the demonstrations. Some social media influencers who initially supported the protests have since distanced themselves, complicating the movement's narrative. The protests in Mexico City were not isolated. Similar demonstrations occurred across the country, particularly in Michoacán, the state where Mayor Manzo was murdered. The grassroots nature of these protests, however, has been called into question, with some analysts suggesting that the involvement of older political figures may indicate a lack of genuine organic youth-led activism. As the dust settles from the protests, it is clear that the issues of crime and corruption are far from resolved. The Mexican government faces mounting pressure to address the concerns of its citizens, particularly the younger generation that feels increasingly disenfranchised. With the world watching, the outcome of these protests could have significant implications for the future of governance and public safety in Mexico. The events of Saturday serve as a stark reminder of the challenges facing Mexico today. As protesters continue to demand accountability and justice, the question remains, will the government heed their calls for change, or will the cycle of violence and corruption continue unchecked? That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.